Okay, so this is Randomizer Strategy Guide for number 3. This video will be all about reading logic. Yeah, so for this video, it's all going to be done live. So I have no prior knowledge of the seed, and also, yeah, just disclaimer, I don't pretend to be the best in the world at this game, especially when it comes to routing. But hopefully, you know, being, I think, ranked either 3rd or 4th, I came 4th place in SGL. I think I know something about the game. Maybe not everything, but something. So I think that I can definitely bring some stuff to the table. At the end of the day, just randomizer, there isn't really entirely optimal strategy, but all you can really do as a player is just make the mathematically correct decision and just hope it works. And also have good execution and stuff like that. So this is going to be done on standard like the other videos. And standard is essentially 3 dungeons. Yeah, 3 dungeons required. Goddess, Master Swords and Harp additionally required as well. Other small things like 1 tablet is open at the start, open LMF, open Earth Temple, closed Thunderhead, stuff like that. And there's like no sanities like key sanity or whatever. So yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. Don't see any reason we should hang around for any more. 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, this is the 3rd video. The first video touched on efficiency, less so about reading the game, and more so about just kind of like just looking at the tracker, looking at the seed, and thinking, okay, where is the most checks? How can I go there? Right. Mainly focused on that for the first video, and that's in whatever kind of aspect you're trying to get the game off of, or whatever aspect you're trying to like read off the game. It's still like following what I call the golden rule is very important. The golden rule is essentially there are more checks somewhere, go there. A 10 out of 15 chance is always going to be more likely to have an item than a 5 out of 15 chance. I got this in the... Is this even a different seed? We'll see in the dungeons. Okay, it is. Skyview, Temple... I did a practice seed this morning, I had the exact same item. Like, what the fuck? Thanks for good luck, Harm. Anyway, so we continue. Yeah, so golden rule, more check somewhere, go there, right? And we'll be using that a little bit for logic, although we may break that depending if the seal... If, like, this... If it makes sense to in the seed, I'm gonna break it a little bit. Whip wasn't on tier. I mean, whip technically isn't inherently required for this seed. It might be at some point. Yo, what's up, Senra? Much speed. I hope I'll have much speed. You're writing stuff and playing is hard. I had like 5 bombs for a non-existent bomb bag. Alright. So again, reading unlike the second video which covered on dungeons, reading logic will actually come a little bit earlier in the game, or at least should be. So just for Skyloft 1, yeah, just for Skyloft 1 is going to be mostly, again, the same. It's, like, regardless of what you're focusing on, whether it be efficiency or reading logic, it's always going to be basically the same, just kind of, and right now, the meta is kind of Academy, Skyloft, and then go to Sky and choose from there. Had lunch? Youthful? Nice. I had lunch as well, because it was lunchtime, and I assume that's why you had lunch as well. I had pasta. Very nice. Anyway. So yeah, just kind of like doing some like, thing. Are we sure Ancient System isn't a dungeon here? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, we're getting a lot of those stuff. One thing I will mention as I'm going through Skyloft 1, right, is how spheres work. So I think that's very important to logic. I touched on this a little bit in the first video, but I didn't really want to go too far in depth of how spheres work, because it's much of a logic thing to do, and that's what I'm going to explain. So basically, right, spheres are kind of how, like, okay, I'll start with the general definition of logic. Logic is kind of just how the game, it's an algorithm for randomizing items to make sure that the seeds are beatable. It makes sure that Claw Shot isn't Insanity or Fire Shield Earrings are in Summit, something like that. But this algorithm, this logic, it works in a very peculiar way that, if you can read, can normally set you above just about everyone, but you have to read it in a very specific way, otherwise it can sometimes lead to more gambles, which I'll get to later. And the quirk in the algorithm is that it works under spheres. Now, spheres are basically kind of like, I don't know how best to describe it, but it's like, say for example, all the chests I've opened so far, these have all been what's known as Spheres 0 checks. So checks that you can get from the start of the game, they don't require any items. Now say you get the Water Dragon Scale, this is a really good example. Yeah, so you get the Water Dragon Scale, right? But now there's a chest, there is the shed chest that we're going to open in just a minute. And because it is locked by the scale, which is an item found in a Sphere 0 check, the shared chest is now Sphere 1. And so any item I find in that, for example, say for example I found like earrings, so then in the summit, that would be Sphere 2. Although in this case it wouldn't be quite, because I couldn't quite get to the summit, but you get the idea, right? Spheres kind of work in that way. So yeah, this is, this check is Sphere 1, right? And spheres work in like that sort of way, right? And because of how the game places things, Sphere 0 checks are always most likely to house items, and items found in Sphere 0 are most likely going to be useful at some point during the seed. Not always, because sometimes it can also just be randomly placed in Sphere 0, but sometimes. And a lot of people like to base a lot of their... Now, okay, what I've just said just sounds really like useful information, but you do want to be careful with reading into this, because I know a lot of people who base a lot of their routing, not just like Skyward Sword, but in other games too, where they base a lot of their routing off of these spheres, and it doesn't quite pay off. And later on in the video, I'll tell you kind of what to look out for. But I think that keeping spheres in the back of your head is normally a very good way of like deciding what to do if you ever get to like kind of like a tiebreaker situation. Like in, for example, the first video, it was kind of a tiebreaker situation between Farron and Skyloft. I went to Skyloft because there's a hint, and boom, I got lucky. Something like that, right? It's kind of like logic is kind of like an unofficial hint system, right? It kind of like it kind of nudges you in a direction. You shouldn't let it pull you. You should just kind of like nudge you in a direction, but of course not be the driving factor. At least that's how I use it. And so yeah, and as you probably have seen, and Harm explained in the chat, right? Basically, it's Elden Pillar. I don't know why that. I don't explain that really weirdly, but yeah, Elden Pillar. So that's likely to be the place we're gonna go next. Oh wait, did like Jazzes get like Reki in like hasty 80% or something? I don't know what he got. Weird Sky. Yeah. What did he get Reki in? Why does my nose... It was itching like in the second episode. Why is it itching in the third one? What the hell? So yeah. One thing to note is that if it's my open pillar, it is also Sphere 0. So all the things in Elden are also Sphere 0, even though technically it's like... technically it's... Oh, bug now. Okay, I thought you were talking about the man himself getting a record. Okay. I'm uncultured. Gorko's Goddess Ball and Beetle on Pipit. / Ghost, but no one cares about... No one cares about the Ghost. Fuck you, Ghost. Yeah, it's Gorko as well. So yeah, these Elden items, at least the ones that aren't locked by mitts or bums or anything, these are Sphere 0, so these have like just the same... These have the same likelihood of having anything as like, say, the Goddess statue chest or something. I don't know why I didn't... Okay, Bugnet, yeah. I'm pretty sure I clicked on the Bugnet, it just didn't work. Anyway. Or I just forgot that I got Bugnet. I probably did both. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, but for example, with the Amber Tablet, like, or in the Lanayru, right? Because we had to physically collect the Amber Tablet, anything in Lanayru is actually Sphere 1 by default. Now that might be a bit hard to get your head around, which is like fine, because again, that's like, sometimes reading into this too much, I've been guilty of this, like you can read into logic too much and it actually be detrimental and cause you to make gambles. So just for the early game, I'm not really going to be paying attention to too much logic. I'm going to keep things in the back of my head for a little bit. Probably more so than normal as I'm talking about logic. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on, again, just rule number 1, efficiency, the golden rule, all stuff like that. That's the main reason why I went to Elden then. It wasn't because it was Sphere 0, but purely because it was kind of, there's just more checks. And I think that, I know that, like, Jinlist, right, he was a big person. I actually was, because I don't know if he is anymore, but I know he was a big person on going to Sphere 0, like, clearing out your Sphere 0 checks. And I think that that strategy definitely has some merit, even if the golden rule isn't pointing towards it. Because sometimes there can be really useful items captured in Sphere 0 that, because the golden rule doesn't say that like, it's a good idea to go there, you might just be delaying it over and over and over again. So say like, say you got like Amber Tablet early, and there was something useful in the first chest in minecart thing, or like the first chest you get in, like the only check that's unlockable in Lanayru, right? Say there's something there, right? Because the golden rule is basically like, you know, fuck Lanayru without bombs or claws, right? You wouldn't really go there until like the very end, so I think following Sphere Zero checks is definitely a good strategy, especially if you find yourself, especially if you find yourself leaving Skyloft 1 without anything. So it definitely has some merit to it, but it's like, I'd say just experiment with it in yourself, by yourself. Okay, valid, that's cool. I should probably be writing down what I'm actually getting. Or writing down kind of like what areas I'm getting. I've been starting to do that more. Like writing down any like dead Spirit of the Sword. So if I get like a Spirit of the Sword for like the Academy, like 2 hours in, I just forgot what I got from the Academy. I don't, because I just wrote down that I already got something useful. So I need to do the same thing for Skyloft, because that was Amber Tablet, and also here, which was... Actually, no, I don't... Okay, I'm going to do Elden and then Ballad right afterwards, so I know that at least I got Ballad. Anyway, that's enough about, like, kind of hints and stuff. Yeah, for now, just kind of, like, you know... It is nice that we're clearing up Sphere Zero stuff here, just based on, like, mathematics, right? So we don't have to worry about anything being in Sphere Zero. We do kind of have to worry about Paro's gift a little bit. Other than that, it's like, yeah... Might race next weekly? Please do, Harm. We need more people racing on weeklies. Because right now it's just like me and maybe Mario. Actually, I think in the community it's just me in general. And again, maybe you and it's maybe you and like Mario occasionally, but yeah. I'm pretty sure I've been in like the last like 10 races or something. Assuming they weren't at like 2 in the morning. I know Yal and Jasnix are. Yeah, they removed this cutscene just to fuck me, didn't they? Yeah. I know Yal and Jasnix have been pretty, like, into, like, spoiler stuff and, like, what is it? Like, not, like, spoiler stuff specifically, but, like, other stuff as well. But the problem is, right, it's just, like, they always play at 2 in the morning for me, which is, like, bro, I can't do that. Okay, so we did this. Oh yeah, was that Pixel Skyward? They removed a few things, yeah, and that included, yeah. Oh damn, I love how the stream is dying because I just did something. Why does... Computer, why do you do this? You're like 2 inches above the ground. You shouldn't be dying of heat, death, whatever. Anyway. So yeah, I think that, a lot of the early game, again, as I said, you don't want to follow logic too much. Because again, it's like sometimes you're kind of abandoning like the golden rule and stuff like that. It can be a little bit weird, and you kind of like you can sometimes just open up yourself to lose time, especially in early game. Because again, it's like you'll just like going to stumble across items anyway. But it's kind of like you kind of want to keep it in the back of your head and kind of balance it. For example, I'm going to go all the way around the sky to check hints and stuff. Just like I think that given the given like the amount of checks stuff, it's more likely that I could just go straight to Skyloft and stuff. But this is more for like safety and logicalness, because I know that like Lumpy Pumpkin is Sphere Zero, so might as well get this. Farron is dead, and Alwyn is Song of the Hero. Okay, bomb bag. And here's like a bit of an example, right? If I had bomb bag earlier on, right, and then I went to Elden, then oh hey, we're literally talking about you, Yal. Hello. Always we were like 5 minutes ago. Right. So yeah, bomb bag, right? This is a good example of how spheres work, right? They are here, right, because it's Sphere Zero, and it's like. I guess if I really want to read into it, it's like, ooh, I can do a lot of stuff in Earth Temple now. Not Earth Temple. I was just clicking on Earth Temple. Just being North America. It's quite a distance, I must say. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, bomb bag there, right? It's like it had like just about as much chance of being there as like anywhere else, but I think that's. Like, the game normally wants you, in terms of spheres, again, normally wants you to check all the Sphere Zero and then kind of do stuff, which is kind of how logic works. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm just waiting for, like, this conversation, like, what I'm talking about to make sense. It just doesn't right now. But yeah, it's like, I think that, okay, here you go. I think that, that's kind of where checking Sphere Zero stuff comes into play and, like, safety actually works, because it's like, if I was being really safe, I'd have checked the sky beforehand. Central Skyloft. I already got that. I did, but yeah, those both things I already did. I'll go to... This is most on the fly, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, dude, if everyone was just EU, then everything would be so much easier, honestly. Okay, if everyone was in, like, 1 times, then that'd be so much easier. Yeah, like... Yeah, I don't know. Matthew might be able to make it. It would be cool if you could make it. Actually, it might be worth, like, about like rescheduling weeklies, because I feel like that people have kind of like might have changed their times or like something like that. Okay, Desert and Elden Trial. Like I know that like yeah, I think you could only do like Fridays or something, but now it's like since there's like almost no one doing the weeklies, it might not matter that like all the people who favor Saturday might be like gone or something. Anyway, so back to kind of showing up some. I'm getting sidetracked really easily here, but yeah, going back to kind of bomb bag shenanigans, right? Like that's like the benefit of kind of being safe with Sphere Zero is that you guarantee that stuff like you check somewhere and then you find a useful item doesn't happen, right? It might still happen, right, where you check Sphere Zero items and then you go to Sphere 1 location and there's your item that you needed. But again, because of how the algorithm works, it's like slightly more likely that there's stuff in Sphere Zero than anywhere else. Which is kind of why, and also, the more you delay Sphere Zero checks, like, the more you're kind of risking yourself being out of a huge logical loop, and stuff like that. So it can make sense to do lower spheres when possible. But again, like, not too much. Because, I mean, it was only bomb bag. Thank God it wasn't, like, Mitch or something, which is just like really unlucky, or which would be really unlucky, but it wasn't that, so we're fine. But yeah, it's basically yeah. I mean, okay, okay, harm, right? I think the next seeding format has been mostly written about it, but we're having a huge row about it in like across like the race council. I think I'm allowed to say this. I don't know. I might just be cancelled like right away now. Anyway, so yeah, going to Thunderhead here because you know everything in Thunderhead is Sphere 1. Okay, well now everything else is like Sphere 1 or 2 now. And you know, but again, I'm not making it like I'm only really going it because Thunderhead is like close to me. I'm not really making it. I'm just keeping it in mind so that for future decisions it could be a useful thing. But I'm not making it change like too many things. I'm just kind of reminding myself on what the spheres are, so that when it gets to the late game and logic matters a little bit more, I can make more informed decisions if need be. But yeah, I'm gonna say in this guy a little bit more do Oriel, then I'm gonna kind of yeet probably looking at the board. Looking at the tracker, yeet myself to Lanayru because there's so many more checks. There's like 14 in total, including the one in LMF, which I might get. Just open the spoiler log. I mean, I could, yeah. I could actually like do these entire videos. Like, if I feel like that these videos might be a little bit better if I kind of knew where everything was. But then that would more just be kind of like that wouldn't really be like I wouldn't be able to talk about what I'm doing as freely, because it would be like, especially if the game plays something in a really awkward place. It'd be like I'm gonna go here and then I'm gonna do this, and then I say like I do something completely different to what I recommend. Like, at least here it's like I'm doing what I recommend, and if it messes up, it still messes up. I don't know. So this is, because Bottle's in Thunderhead, this is Sphere 2 right now. Again, that doesn't mean too much, because it's random at the end of the day, but good to kind of keep in mind. Also, another thing that I'll talk about, right, is in/outer logic, and I might discuss this more so later on, or maybe not. The game just wants me to stay in Skyloft, in the sky, I swear to God. I mean, that's basically me, though. Like, I'm... like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like me at, like, 5 AM, right? Like, I wake up at, like, 5 AM, you know, right? And sometimes it's, like, half the time it's a really productive, like, time, because I just I'm that guy who can wake up early and literally be out of bed. Nearly. Yeah, Levi's is already in logic. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, okay, I'm that guy who can like wake up and then be like productive 5 minutes later. And normally for like I'm like, okay, this is like another reason why I wake up at 5 AM because I like to like take full advantage of shit like that. So half the time at 5 AM, like really productive. The other half of the time I'm just not. Yeah, I could tell this morning wasn't that productive because I just tuned into Yal stream at like the moment I woke up. Yeah, I mean, that's what normally happens with productivity. It's normally, like, really good in the morning, and then some point in the afternoon you kind of just dip, and then you just never regain that, and you just end up through the evening just sadly playing video games. Anyway, back to this. So yeah, I guess I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm just going to talk about, like, you know, after logic, how I, like, kind of decide. I mentioned this a little bit in the first video as well, like, how I only really count in logic checks, not out of logic. And now going out of logic is usually a very good idea. Good thing that you should probably do. Nice, I got one. Yeah, going out of logic is a good idea, but I think that for where to, like, when you're deciding where to go, you're essentially making educated guesses. You're essentially making like an educated guess with maths, right? And every so like okay, in all the accessible checks, at least one of them has to be something good, at least, right? And so Lanayru right now has the most accessible checks, so it's the most likely that will be. When you're picking your region, you're essentially you're going to a place that has the most likely chance of having an item, and which in this case is Lanayru. And also is Desert Spear of the Sword, so even if it wasn't checked, like, as like, even if it didn't have as many checks open, I'd probably still go there anyway. So yeah. This stuff is all Sphere 1 because Amber Tablet and Bomb Bag were Sphere 0. Again, if you like can't keep track of all these spherical nonsense, it's like not the end of the world. Because again, it's like again, something you can read into it too much. But you know, it's nice knowledge to have. Well, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that I can do Earth Temple. It's not telling me I can do Earth Temple, but I'm pretty sure I can if I do that or not. Okay. Oh yeah, no, technically I need mitts and okay, I can clear Earth Temple if I did Key Sheet, which I may or may not do, knowing me. But yeah. But right now, you know, in Lanayru, again, I mentioned this is a dungeons video, but I'm not going to rush dungeons. Add too much this early on. Just kind of treat them as any other region. Go with them if they're useful. If they're not, then just kind of delay them a little bit. Oh no, I saw the end of his second alternate seed. It sucked. He found Thor's courage and was like, right, I'm done, I'm going to bed, or something, I don't know. Maybe Yal just doesn't sleep. I mean, I don't know. I mean, flipping Pac-Man was like awake at like midnight. Although midnight's like a time normal people, okay, it's not a time most normal people awake, but it's like the tail end of what normal people would be awake at. It's not like 4 AM where like most people are asleep. He fell asleep. I don't know, maybe. It's like what? It's okay. Quick maths. It's like 9 AM in Eastern, and so it's like what? 8 AM in like the one next to it, Central, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's that Central Mountain and that. I always forget. I think it's just Raiden Mountain. I think so. I think like I'm pretty sure Yal is in Central. Could be wrong though. Break sliding. Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, please don't fail that. So yeah, no, those 5 bombs. Funnily enough, right? They weren't entirely useless because I had that one bomb. I think. Yeah, I could use like one. I had one extra bomb even though my patch was full, which is quite funny. I completely forgot chest behind statue, by the way. This is embarrassing, but okay. How am I blaming you? You distracted me. Just kidding. Yeah. So this is kind of bad, like bad small scale rating it because I just fucking forgot an entire like check. It's not too far away, but I'd rather have not done this. Thankfully with brake sliding, it isn't, like, too painful. Assuming I get all these brake slides, by the way. If I, like, mess up these brake slides, it's just gonna be sad. Oh my god, like that. There, let's not do that. Blech. Cool. I need to go track them more often, to be honest. That's just it. I need to do that more. Key piece. Yeah, because of an open-air temple, right now those are basically just paperweight. When you're watching this, we might have actually done something useful with the key pieces, but right now I haven't. I mean, yesterday I was trying to get on my break when you said that, so I was already distracted. Right. What's my job? I work part-time at a roller skating rink, which is pretty cool. Because you, like, skate around and get paid for it. Okay, obviously it's, like, not just that, but, you know. That's, like, the basis of it. I think I can say that without getting fucking doxxed. There's a bunch of roller skating rinks, I'll be alright. Anyway, yeah, back to the game. So yeah, Randomizer. Again, mostly kind of like a lot of this video will kind of have crossovers with the first video. But yeah, it's for the most part, it's like for now, at least keeping track of logic, but not like what is it? Yeah, keeping track of logic, but not what is it? Yeah, keeping track of logic, but not like following it too much. I mean, you could do that. I mean, you know, okay, well. I mean, if you're that determined, then go ahead. I mean, hell, I mean, I wouldn't say you should, but I mean, you know. It'll be a nice free harm face reveal. Why do you not die? Oh yeah, because 2 hits. Okay, I'm done. I'm dumb. Yeah, now I remember why we never used to do that in old 80%. Fuck. Why are they all blue now? Why does this happen? Why? Who did this? Yeah, I don't look at Bingo-thon shit posts, yeah. I barely even look at, like, anything Bingo-thon related, which is kind of sad, because I should do more, because Bingo-thon's actually pretty lit. But yeah, to this day, I have no idea what you either sound like or look like. I don't even know if you're human. I don't know, you might be one of those, like, fucking aliens that came through a fucking Stargate or something, I don't know. Given how much you like that show. that gonna sink? No, it's not. Okay. Boom. Oh my god, I missed the button. And I missed the slide. Great. This might not work. This next one has to be perfect. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, brick size has been off today, but that's alright. A lot of things have been off today. I hit the desk with my finger. Not the first time I've done that, but my god, it hurts. As you can tell, I'm exhibiting so much pain. Okay, to be fair, that did actually hurt quite a bit. Please hit, that'd been an epic scope. Surprised it didn't die there, but anyway. Emerald tablet, okay. So that is the thing in the desert. The Spirit of the Sword, so good to know. Now, one interesting thing about the Spirit of the Sword is that they can sometimes like tell you kind of how the logic wants you to play in a seed. Because like if you like, I don't really have any examples, but sometimes like if you look at like, if you look at Spirit for sort of like Betrothed, then for like, Farron, and then you find like the Emerald Tablet at Betrothed, it could like sometimes tell you like you can kind of like decree that the game kind of wants you to go to Farron. But again, it's all kind of like, you know, reading logic at this stage in the game should be kind of like more so done to just kind of like nudge you in the right direction. It shouldn't be you shouldn't be making any big decisions on logic just yet. So yeah, I need to mark down the tablet as well. That's kind of important. One thing to note is that Skyloft 2 is also pretty, like, low in, is, like, usually Sphere 0 to 1, because, like, we left a few Sphere 0 stuff, like Betrothed and Pero's Gift, right? So, it might just be worth clearing that up for a little bit, even if it doesn't, like, oh my god, even if it doesn't, like, say I should, I don't know. Again, I'm not going to use that to make any decisions, but maybe in the late game I hadn't cleared up Skyloft 2, I'm probably going to go back there and do that. Oh yeah, it's finally not blue anymore. Oh my god. Yeah, about 5 and 10 doesn't feel like it because you still need to get crystals, but because you can get lone crystals up to 10, they are technically Sphere 0. Why can't I break slide today? What is this? Yeah, no, this... Oh, no. Ugh. I think the dead zone's a little bit further south than I'm used to it being, so I think my muscle memory is kind of hindering me a little bit. It's fine. Yo, more money, let's go. Dip home in 30 minutes? Nice. A bit of a jank thing here, and I think this, by doing this, we may kind of make it out of logic, but it's okay. Again, doing out of logic things here isn't too bad of an idea, because again, it can, sometimes doing out of logic things can actually tell you stuff about the seed, which I'll probably explain a little bit once I've done talking a bit. But yeah, it's like, like I'd say this is a good idea even though it's out of logic. So yeah, doing stuff out of logic, why I kind of do that, right? Okay. It might seem like a bit counterintuitive to do this because, like, if we're like just to what I said, right? Is that like we know that there is likely going to be something in a check-in logic, so why we waste our time checking things that have a significantly like lower chance, right? But you know, again, this is kind of why I say don't make it the big things, but this is why I say kind of do them a little bit because say for sometimes checks will actually be in logic sooner than you think, and even they might even would have been in logic had you done a slightly different route. I sure as well, yeah. So like, say had I like gone to Skyloft 2 and then found like the beetle, that would be in logic right now. Of course it isn't, but it would be. And also, okay, here's a good example of why I do things like this, because it can sometimes tell you things about the seed which can be game changing. It's very unlikely for this to happen, but like, okay, here's the thing, right? Say you're in Lake Floria, you have all the items for it to be in logic, except for Bellows and claw shots, and you do the fence hop, obviously. And then you find Amber Tablet there, right? You find Amber Tablet in Floria in, like, say, the south chest or something, I don't know. Because you have scale, but just not the Bellows or claw shots, right? Then you go to Lanayru and find Bellows in Lanayru. So then you kind of deduce that in order to get the Amber Tablet has to have been locked by claw shots. And so then you can deduce that claw shots cannot be in Lanayru. Same reason why claw shots can't be in Sansi. It's like it locks itself. And that sort of information can be game changing if, say, you're in go mode except for claw shots, because then you can rule out an entire huge region and stuff like that. Now I thought of this like quite early on, this sort of thing quite early on, and I've never had to use something like this. I've had to kind of use it on like a small scale, like I know like, okay, well this one check doesn't have anything. I haven't been able to use this kind of strategy to rule out an entire region, but it can happen, which is why it's even worth it in the first place. Okay, so I'm going to do something that's slightly, only like slightly different to what I did in the dungeons. I'm not going to do, I'm not going to necessarily do LMF right now. In part it's because it isn't Spirit of the Sword Hunter, but also because I'm looking at the tracker, it's much like, there's only like one thing in LMF, and so I'll like dip and do for that, but I'm not going to stay too much in LMF, because it's like, it's too much out of logic, especially considering somewhere like Farron or Skyloft has way more checks, and so it's like, again, I'm kind of like trying to guess, okay, there's likely to be something in Skyloft or Farron, I'm going to go there, right? The reason why I think in the last episode why I did actually go into LMF in a very similar situation, it's early and it's like required dungeon stuff like that, is because at least like in like LMF was Spirit of the Sword, right? Which means, you know, I had to have something useful. But I think, I don't know, I think thinking back I might change that and say actually doing what I did is bad, I don't know, like, it depends on the scene, it could have been something like completely useful, and to what I said earlier, had I done something different, LMF might have already been in logic. Yeah, this is number 3. This is about reading logic, which is a little bit more advanced than the other two, which is kind of why it's like at the end. But yeah, it's hopefully this stuff will like still be useful. And yeah, Dodo crystals. Alright, time for more counting. Now I'm embracing my inner jazz next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. 6 plus 5, 11. Okay, so there's more stuff in Skyloft, no, in Farron right now. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at stuff. Okay, yeah, there's more stuff in Farron if I'm including the dungeon, which I will include the dungeon. So I'm gonna go there. Again, it's like, if I was following logic a little bit more, I'd probably go to Skyloft, simply because it's earlier in logic, and I don't want to like skip out too many logical tiers, but again, because it's still very early game, because it's still, I'm just following the golden rule primarily, which is, you know, it's that. I don't think I found anything useful in mines. I'm not gonna say I didn't find anything useful in mines. Yeah. Okay. So again, as I've summarized a million times, you know, keeping track of logic, just don't follow it too much in the early game. Following it in the late game can be a good idea, because then at that point you're only looking for like 1 or 2 items, so you're kind of guessing anyway with a lot less, with kind of like, you're guessing already with a lot less knowledge. And so by kind of having that little bit of kind of like logic, to this, like, in a way to kind of like nudge you to certain places, it can be useful anyway. Alright. We both further. I got a golden skull earlier, which just didn't write down as well. You didn't nunfuck during the last race? Damn. Yeah, nunfucks are very common, so the fact you didn't do that is surprising. I only do about once a race. Shaq and Golo Gift, both dead. Well, yeah, I think that you have the formula or something. You have like a formula that you've been posting in race admin. I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose this, but I'm saying anyway. I don't know. It's not exactly a surprise that if you would have this. I don't know. I'm not exactly leaking anything. Okay, I'm leaking the things, but it's like, yeah. It's not very important things, I don't think. Or things that would, like, change shit too much. More like update. Okay, actually, I'm not gonna do this because there's a decent chance I can beat a Skyview. Spiral into space? Yeah, I guess that makes sense, yeah. I mean, I genuinely thought it had legs, and I thought like it might work for season 2 for at least trying it out. I'm pretty sure that's like the consensus for most people as well. Okay, Ashimon Tree is dead. I think if that's a Hakate not heart piece. I mean, what is that? That's another bottle. Not gonna get that. That's yeah, I don't need it. Maybe if I'm like going to summit, and it would be in the thing. It'd be in the thing anyway, so it wouldn't matter. This way, actually. I can't do the chest tree yet. That hit. What the fuck? Like, bro, really? Okay, right now I can technically actually beat all my dungeons. Oh, I might be able to. Okay, so mid game at 41 minutes pause jump. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put a big asterisk because I don't have the Gus Bellows, so. Yeah, okay. I guess I am gonna treat this. Why am I doing this? I didn't check. Machi. Okay, so I'm gonna treat this as slightly mid-game, but I'm not gonna be rushing dungeons as much. I'm just gonna be kind of doing them in order. I guess I probably should have like known that I could have done dungeons earlier and probably done LMF to make sure that I might have actually be able to beat it. I don't know. It is out of logic. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, everything's out of logic without Gus Bellows either way. Well, I guess doing it this way works. If I do find Gus Bellows in the end, then like in Skyview or No Temple, then well, problem solved. Season 2 won't happen, yeah. I know for a fact that SGL 2022 won't happen, which is just sad, but you know. Okay, I don't know that for a fact, but given by how everyone's been talking, I'm pretty sure it's very likely that a lot of people don't want to, like, do an IRL event anytime soon. I might be, like, over-dramatizing it. I think that's a word. But yeah, I only know, like, me and like 2 people who'd be like willing to have an IRL tournament, which makes sense because half of everyone is literally in like Europe. But you know, still. So yeah. So I can technically. It's very unlikely, but I can technically beat all my required dungeons. It's like say if I didn't have whip for Sandship, right? So, I'm gonna kind of treat this as mid-game, although I'm gonna be doing it with very much, like a lot more caution, right? I know, and Skyview. Okay, Skyview. Spirit of the Swords. What could that be? That could actually be a bunch of things, to be honest. I forgot what the first hint was, actually. Ah, there's the case. Yeah, I do that. Useful. Yeah. Another thing I will just say, kind of like adding to doing lower spheres, is kind of like a little bit like after the blue. But I will say like, if you go out of logic and you like find, like if say like you're in Linearu and you find like a Ruby tablet after logic, and then you're done with Linearu, and then the only things you can do are Skyloft or Elden, then I think at that point you should know that there's some sort of progression, likely bomb bag, but some sort of progression on Skyloft. And so at that point, it's like a really good idea to do that. Because I think it's a good idea to do, if you know somewhere has to have like some sort of progression, it's a very good idea to do anyway. Because then at that point it's like, if you kind of skip it, you might be putting yourself like on like a really bad logical like chase and stuff, and you might be like missing a key. I have to just do that. I don't know. I've never had that weird sailcloth thing, but okay, I guess game. Yeah, I just pressed B too early. Don't you wondering my peculiar movement? Don't wonder it. Just watch a video I made on YouTube. We'll sort out all your queries about whatever the fuck I'm doing right now. It's sort of the query of why don't I do Spyro roll. But anyway, we continue. Yeah. Bloopy. Cool. Really? I tried to like do it not so they hit him, but it did anyway. Okay, so right now the only thing I can do is the behind two eyes, so if that's useful, I am kind of screwed. So I'm just gonna pray that it's not useful. Alright. Okay, so now, this is useful, right? We know that there has to be a small key in the digging spot, right? So we know that for the end of, for the rest of Skyview, digging mitts are logically required. Not hard required, because I'm gonna do some back in time in a minute, but they are hard. They are logically required. So I'm gonna keep that in mind. And again, it's like going out of logic, I might actually learn something very useful about the scene. Blow up! Blow up! Blow up, please. Kill. Okay, whatever, that works as well. So yeah. I guess I'm kind of doing this again because, well, first of all, I kind of like assumed that the key wouldn't be there, and also because, you know, well, because again, a little bit more of a mid-game mentality of just kind of like trying to do dungeons, regardless of like stuff, like logic. I guess kind of for mid to late game, you kind of like, at that point I kind of like throw logic out the window a little bit for like required dungeons, because again I kind of like, I know I'll have to do them anyway. I'll try and do the ones in logic first, because I might actually find something useful in those. Like, say, if I'm doing LMF last, because I might find Gust Bellows in, like, Skyview or Earth Temple. And I did Skyview first, because Earth Temple was completely not in logic, and this one was likely to be mostly in logic. Although it isn't entirely, because MITs are technically, like, logically required. So yeah, but for now, I'm just kind of, like, trudging through. Yeah, I think that's a word. Yeah, and as we get into more of a mid-game or late-game, I'm going to be considering logic a little bit more so. So, like, for example, once, like, if I'm able to have, like, done all my dungeons, then I'll probably do earlier spheres and kind of, like, do, like, kind of, like, do earlier spheres and kind of, like, make sure that I'm not, like, out of any big logical loop or something. But just for now, I'm going to be doing all the dungeons because I know I'll have to do this anyway, and it's always like a good idea to like, follow that sort of stuff. Small key, I don't really need that. Can't do behind three eyes either, so I guess doing dungeons now is kind of like quite risky if behind three eyes is useful. I don't know. Behind three eyes might be boss key, and that would be quite bad. So then we couldn't complete this without Beetle or something. Which, given how hints have worked, is like slightly more likely than normal. Not entirely likely, but a little bit more. Can bring those to like see if they might have some season or something on there. Okay, so yeah. Okay, this puts everything into a big logical what the fuck. Because so now claw shots are locked by mitts. Oh yeah, is this the boss key? That'd be nice. No, it isn't. Okay, of course it isn't. Why would this be the boss key? We did get claw shots though, so that's not all bad. Okay, claws locked by mitts. That's yeah. Okay, so that's not inherently the Skyview strip of the sword, but it kind of is. I'm just gonna say that it is because I very much doubt that it isn't, because claw shots unlock so much. Everyone being that logic. I mean, it's better than the last weekly race where I was out of logic like the entire time, and that was like a pain to read. Yeah, I guess that's the one thing about being out of logic, because you kind of have to read it a little bit more. But yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, I am just gonna fish up Farron a little bit. Okay, so now I know that I can't beat all my dungeons, so I'm gonna transition back to more of an early game mentality, which is I guess more so about kind of following golden rules and stuff like that. Until once I find Beetle, I'm gonna be a little bit more mid game as well. And sometimes I can like flip flop between mid game and early game, if in like situations like this where I just noticeably can't beat seeds. And yeah, this is kind of why I was a bit cautious to go straight for mid game, because I didn't want to like get to it and then be really like aggressive skipping checks and then I can't beat a dungeon. So yeah. Unfortunately, because yeah, we can't beat Skyview, I'm gonna have to do this now. and like do Machi Chase. If we could beat Skyview, we'd skip this, but unfortunately we can't. So that a little bit like time lost there, but I was making like I was kind of making the correct decision in the sense that I was thinking that the boss key wouldn't be behind 3 eyes or something. But yeah. I might have probably been a good idea to pick up that golden skull, but I didn't quite, so that's alright. I do have enough money anyway, so even if that was needed, it wouldn't be a too big problem, unless something is on like 300, which would kind of suck. Pretty sure you did that? I did that, yeah. So yeah, as I said earlier, just kind of going back to a more early game stance and just kind of like doing checks. Not being too aggressive, so I'm kind of I'm counting a little bit of cleanup of Farron here. So yeah, and just keeping in mind that I got cautious outside of logic here. And so I know that like ding mitts, like if for example. This is a practical example. If I know the boss key for Earth Temple is in a Dingmit's location, then and Dingmit's all I need, then I don't I'm not gonna go looking in any claw shot spots. That was very close to working with Lobster Roll, but didn't quite. Yeah, this is a very open seed. A lot of stuff is open, like 33 accessible checks. It's not normally how many checks are open at this point. Yeah, just in case I might need the thing on Skyloft trial. I'm gonna push down that log. Yeah, there's very much to say here, because Slingshot's just kind of a long, kind of, picking up kickweed sort of check. Just kind of running around and talking, and that's like all this check has to offer. Gonna do Great Tree chest, so yeah. Actually, okay, this wouldn't be like too practical, because I know that like the other mitts might be in claw shots. It might be a claw shot lock check, so like, we might as well find mitts in Great Tree. It just wouldn't be the one that's like... We can find Mog mitts, in, like, we can find 2 ding mitts in, claw shot locked. But yeah, we just running right now. Okay, bow. That's... I'll take that. I'll take it. That doesn't mean we can now do a lot more of Earth Temple, actually, so that's good. Yeah, because I'm now more in a, until I find Beetle, I'm kind of more in a... I'm pretty sure I found Rattle somewhere. I'm fairly certain I found Rattle somewhere. I'm hoping it's not Seed Bleed right now, but I'm pretty sure I found Rattle somewhere. Okay, well that just like puts all that in logic. Actually, no, that does have to be a key. Okay. Okay, so now the... Okay, so now what? I guess it's also locked by Beetle, so now it's more so about kind of not locked by claws. No, not locked by Mitts, but locked by Beetle. I think that's the thing here. So I'm gonna read you like the first two sections of Skyview. Okay, I know that, and mines. I don't think we got anything too useful in mines. Just thinking back. Yeah, I want to say that mines was fairly desolate, so I think that it's probably going to be... I'm going to write that down, yeah. Okay, so yeah, coming up to the end of Farron. Yeah, my Spirit Sword might change things, but you know, I'm still kind of mostly in a early game sort of sense, as I said. Okay, so 16. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think we can go to Elden now, actually, because logically that has like 16 things I can do, and plus like Summit, so gonna do that now. Again, just kind of following Golden Rule here. Not worrying too much about logic, not worrying too much about like early spheres that I might have missed, but you know, kind of just kind of going with things. And yeah. So whilst I'm kind of going through Elden, I actually want to discuss about how I'm going to kind of change my playstyle when we get to kind of when we get to like mid or late game, particularly late game, because mid game is mostly about just clearing dungeons, right? So it's probably going to be not too into logic. If anything, it's going to become anti-logic with how I'm going to do things. But for the most part, right? I think especially with like late game, right? It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be like my style for late game is normally incredibly similar to early game, except I'm going to be kind of reading logical, and that's basically okay. This is like how I read logic. First of all, I clear up any like very low spherical areas, like if I hadn't done already. So Skylofts 1 and 2, those two things, I would have done Skyloft 1 at that point. I'll clear up Skyloft 2, and also say if I hadn't been to Elden at all, I'd probably do Elden, which is the starting pillar. If the fan was a starting pillar and I hadn't been to it, I'd probably go there. basically kind of like a measure of like safety, right? This is like kind of reading logical, right? Then I'll kind of do things based on my item set, right? Or based on what items, or at the very least what items I find, basically like, I'll have a look at my items and go, okay, which ones haven't been useful yet? And so like, say if I found like, Claw Shots and Cave Ski in like Sphere 0, right? And there was like, hardly anything, I haven't like, Claw Shots haven't been useful thus far, like, I might just kind of like, kind of like nudge myself a little bit towards Sansy. Again, not like make an entire decision based on Sansy, but kind of, you know, like think about Sansy a little bit more, because then it's like, in a small way, that might be like the logic's way of kind of like telling me where something is. Although again, I only say kind of like nudge yourself in a specific direction, because like I would say like don't follow this too much, right? I only really follow this in sort of like tiebreak situations, like say if like Sansy and like another region have the same amount of checks, right? Like when you already have limited knowledge is when you should start to kind of read into logic. So I feel like if you base everything entirely off logic, you start to like create gambles that aren't really there, and this is kind of like another thing by kind of by not following the golden rule, is that you're in a way you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. Not entirely, because you know sometimes it might just get like lucky. But if you're not going with the mathematics, then it's like the less chance you have of finding the right item. So if the mathematics aren't clear, then at that point I tend to follow logic like that. Otherwise, I only really follow logic the same way how I always have done, by noticing, okay, well like this is like locked by this, so this can't be in like X place or something like that. Like that way of reading logic you should do that, right? Because it can sometimes be game-changing in certain seeds. It hasn't been for me. It's very rare for it to be game-changing, but it can be. And so doing that is a very useful, like, it's very useful, a good idea, right? But in, like, tiebreak situations, you also might want to, like, consider, like, how early on was it? Like, has this been in logic for ages and ages, and have I just, like, left it to the last minute? Like, say if, like, Skyloft 2 had the same amount of checks as Farron or something. I was like, okay, well, like, I'm probably gonna do Skyloft 2 because, like, there's, like, been early in logic. Or, like, again, Sansy, the same amount of checks as Eldon. But I was, like, the items kind of pointing me towards Sansy, so I'll go there. In instances like that, it's okay to read logic. Sparrowt is dead, and Levice is dead, okay. I mean, Levice is technically not dead, but I mean, so who's gonna, like, do a Levice for some crystals? Like, in small tiebreaks is when you can read logic, but otherwise I'd say stick to, unless you're being really aggressive, the more aggressive you are, the more you could read into logic, but I'd say for most people, most of the time, if you're in the late game, still try to follow the golden rule, and only really use logic in tiebreakers, and kind of like, that's how I read logic, basically. In the early game, I basically kind of like ignore it, I'll keep it in the back of my head, but for the most part, I'll just pretend it isn't there. And in terms of the late game, I'll start to kind of use it in, like, I'll still heavily rely on golden rule, but I'll mostly kind of like, I use logic as kind of like a background thing of like, and for use of like tiebreakers. Like how we used a hint for that tiebreaker in the first episode in the efficiency video. So yeah, just clearing the stuff, then we'll be heading into Eldon. Earth Temple, we're already in Eldon. And just in case, I go to Summit, which is like quite likely. The Nero Trial is dead, and okay, just the Nero Trial, that's like the useful thing there. Okay. So far, kind of alright. Okay, that puts Claws straight into the logic there, and now I am in kind of mid game, because now I know there's a possibility that I'm gonna like possibility that I'm actually going to what's it called? Possibly I'm gonna be able to beat all my dungeons. God, 11 tells out the Bellows have been so much better. I think that looking at this, it's likely that it's not entirely likely that the Bellows are the Spirit of the Sword and Mines, but yeah, it's gonna be like, I think it's either Harp, Beetle, or Bellows, I think. Okay, so yeah, now the entirety of Elden is in logic, so might as well go there because it's a required dungeon, and logically there's like 10 checks waiting for me. And yeah, not having to do key seek because we do have bow and beetle. Because like I think that like if I were to follow logic exactly, I would have probably had to go to Farron, get kind of rejected at Skyview, got the beetle here, then go back, then probably went back to then go back to Farron to get the bow. So I think that by breaking logic, you can like it's like the main reason also why people break logic is because sometimes you can be faster than, or most of the time you can actually be like kind of faster than how the logic. You can route things better than how the logic has laid things out, which is kind of why it's useful sometimes. But again, using it to make big decisions should only happen kind of in late game, or if like something is like really hinted. Like if you can like full clear a hinted region, and it's out of the logic, you might as well just do it anyway. Because at the very least, you're gonna gain some info about the seed. Oh damn, that's so annoying. Yeah, cool. So yeah, now, unless you guys were like, oh, look, confused, we are basically in kind of mid-game. Cautiously again, because we still don't have Bellows, but kind of like, yeah, if we had Bellows, we'd be a lot more comfortably in mid-games. Yeah, right now, just kind of, right now we're doing dungeons, doing everything before LMF, in case we do find Bellows. And then we are going to check LMF to see if the boss key is in a good position. Yeah, still looking for harp and two swords. So when I say mid game, I don't mean be too aggressive because we're still missing quite a few items. Again, still kind of like early game style efficiency, but with putting dungeons as like high priority. Yeah, playing that kind of safe. A temple map. Cool. Okay, so now we can get the other beetles, so we know that there's one check in LMF, which is technically in logic. So yeah, but for now, yeah, we'll do a temple, then kind of Skyview, then LMF. Yeah, again, right now in order, because again we might get Bellows along the way, which would be nice. It might just be kind of dipping till in it. Actually, okay, probably not, because we're only really be dipping to Farron as well, just for Skyview, considering we just cleared out Farron like not too long ago. But yeah. So yeah. Yeah, not really much to say here, just kind of, you know, doing opens. That's just great. Yeah. Should probably be a bit more focusing bit, otherwise that can happen. I might have broken it. Oh my god, dude, that would suck. Maybe not. Assuming it doesn't crash. Okay, yeah. Thank god it naturally reads stuff in file 3. Oh my god. Yeah, be careful around that point, because it can sometimes just be really, like, dodgy for no reason. Just in general, okay, this is kind of like off topic from logic, but more about dungeons. LMF is actually a really good dungeon to do kind of like first. If you like do stuff, because it's like, normally it's a dungeon that you kind of have to like, because of its layout and how small it is, it's normally like, your go mode route isn't going to look too different from your kind of like searching route. Like the only real differences would have been I would have like just like done less checks around this room and like, I'd be walking up the stairs instead of, like, going this way. So in general for Earth Temple, go moding it and just full clearing it look roughly the same, with a little bit of, like, time loss here and there. But it's much better compared to, like, LMF, where LMF, go mode, and full clear look completely not, like, they look absolutely not the same. And also, of course, like, like, here, for example, there's like, because, like, 2 checks are, like, at the end, instead of just 1. You have like twice the chance of actually full clearing it anyway in the go mode. And in this seed, I would have probably done the exact same thing and just kind of like full cleared it the same way, given by where the boss key was. Okay, so there's a sword. And again, this is kind of like why... This is why mid-game strat exists in the first place. Because there's likely going to be like a sword or harp in your dungeon, right? And by doing them now, they ensure that you would get any of these swords or harp, right? I mean, sure, it's like there's like just the same amount of chance as it being anywhere else, but like at least... Because dungeons is something you have to do eventually, it's like... Putting them off at that point doesn't really make sense. Alright. They remove that cutscene as well. Nice, non-existent, any percent muscle memory. Fuck. I keep forgetting they also changed that cutscene as well, so it's like way shorter. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna say this is the same for bombless as it is for bombless, just, you know, you actually like hit the eye a bunch of times. I think this is like, this one's slightly different because I can actually hit the Shadow Strike this eye twice. Actually no, I'll do it this way. Better do it that way. Now I can like do two things. Or not. Okay, cool. I love it when that happens as well. He's like one hit away though, so that's not too bad. Okay, one dungeon down. Yeah, I'll beat Skyview because I know I can do that. Then I'll probably head to Laneru and see what the Mind Spirit of the Sword is. Then do LMF, or at least try to full clear LMF. Not full clear, beat it. Because if Broski's in a good place, I can actually beat it. And just pray to God that any back in time I do will actually like be able to resolve itself. I'm also hoping that Bellows will be the Mind Spirit of the Sword because that would really make my day. Or Bellows be right here, that would also make my day. Although it's just some Elden Ore. Optimally, there'd be every single item I need in the next few checks I check, but that's not going to happen, because the game doesn't do that, ever. Unless I win the lottery or something. Dude, I missed the cycle, god damn it. Doors are dumb. Have to slash, yeah. Would be nice, right? Is it like if there was like okay, I don't know if I'm like being dumb here, but like say like if there was like a vanilla like ROM hack, but with like all of the rando, like with all like the rando things, so like increased bird speed, increased what is it, like increased text speed or something like that. I think a lot of that would be like quite good for like practicing and stuff, like movement practicing. You couldn't like obviously do a world record with it or do like speedrun attempts, but if you wanted to just like grind out movement and didn't want to like sacrifice on like muscle memory or anything, then I don't know, that could be a good idea. Yeah, again, I'm looking at Skyloft 2 and I'm like, I haven't gone there yet, and there's some things there literally sphere 0, so I'm kind of like concerned about that, but whatever, it's like, could be worse. Again, low sphere doesn't necessarily mean there'll be something useful there. It just means there's a slightly higher chance of there being something useful there. Actually, wait, no, I think the Mind Split Sword has to be either Harp or Bellows, because you already know where the other beetle is. Okay. So that's good knowledge to just kind of like refresh myself on. Yeah, okay, so if I find one of the other items, I'll probably just like yeet myself to the neighboring mines and hope that the next sword is in LMF. Okay. So yeah, I'm also like crafting like certain like almost like scenarios of the seed, which I can imagine happening. Earth Temple and Rock Temple. What was the thing in Earth Temple? Like, what was that? Was it the sword? It might actually be the sword. There's a possibility it's the sword, also I got auto earlier, so that's fine. Yeah, I think that's like the only thing I got. Oh no, did I get Beetle? I got Beetle, that was it. There we go. No, I got Beetle outside. I got Beetle, yeah, outside of there. Okay, so it wasn't that. Okay, maybe it's the, yeah, maybe it's the sword. Thinking. Skyloft and Sword and Alan's Gift. I already did that. Okay, so you might have just found Harp and Bellows, technically. Mines and Din's Power, or maybe not. Or maybe there's like a sword there and it's like a team out. I don't know. I don't bloody know. It's worth at least going to Thunderhead next. Which is what I was going to do anyway, because Thunderhead's like right there, but yeah. Okay, so, just to recap, we are minimum 2 items from Go Mode. Likely 3, because LMF is very unlikely to cooperate with Bellows. Yeah, 2/3, so kind of late game as well. Nothing really looks off about my item set right now. Everything kind of looks like everything I have has kind of been used already, so... again, I might want to do a bit more Skyloft stuff if I didn't have dungeons to do. Because I think that even in the late game, I still prioritize dungeons a little bit more so than normal. But yeah. Seeing... because I don't know where else the thing could have been. Where'd I get Rattle? No, I got Rattle ages ago. Where'd I get Colin's letter? Was that it? Can't remember where I got that from. Fuck, man. This is why I write down hints, because I can just not remember. If this is nothing, then it doesn't really matter, because again, it's like... There's nothing in Earth Temple, so... Okay. So, yeah. I'm fairly certain that I got Colin's letter in Earth Temple, and if I really try and remember. So that was probably it. Okay. And that would point towards the beetle, so, you know. So, okay, so we still don't entirely know where Bellows or Harp is, so we can't be quite rushing... Spirit of the Swords just yet. So I'm gonna dip for Skyview, then I'm gonna see what's in LMF, or see what's in Mines, then go to LMF. And then once I've done all that, I'll finally do Skyloft too, because the fact that I haven't done anything Skyloft related is bugging the hell out of me. From a logical standpoint. I wonder if it's quicker if I were to just get the key and not do the bit warp. I feel like that would be quicker. Especially as I don't have a bit magic file, so that might just make sense as well. Oh no, what I could, one thing here, I could have probably got the key from the, from the bars and key smuggled it here. Okay, that's something I didn't think about. Okay. Lesson learned, try and get, like, keys either way, even if they're, like, appear to be useless. Fuck. I mean, true sense, but my seats are particularly shit. What things do I have? Okay. HD! It's like the only reason why I know that's there. There's no point in save scumming because I already know it's going to be boss key. So I'm going to have to go back anyway. Why did I expect a cutscene? Why? What cutscene would have played then? Other than like I can't expect like a door thing to go down. What? Why would that have played then? Kill these two spiders because I can. I'd say right now the early caves key looked fairly off, and the fact that caves key was hinted. I mean, top of LMF is always hinted. That's like the only thing that kind of looks peculiar to me right now is just caves key. Rattle as well looks a bit weird, and the amount of crystals, but that's pointing towards like Skyloft 2 more so. Oh yeah, push it one more time. God damn it. Counting is hard. Boss key. Might just make this in logic because I can. Yes, H. I'm sorry, H, because we don't pronounce the H, the thing that makes it the sound. Like, seriously, like, why don't we pronounce, like, the H of H? Why is it, like, okay, it might just be me, though, but apparently, like, I was always told it was pronounced H, not, like, H. Like, what? Why does it matter? Like, if people identify as H, then just say fucking H. Why would you have to remove the H? I mean, that's probably true. It probably is just a British thing, to be honest. Because you know, everything with language is a British thing. Technically, I think the British language is first, then American was like a variant of British English. I'm fairly certain. If I know how Britain came after America. No, the other way around. Jesus Christ, no one take that out of context. Okay, British say H, American say H, okay. Why does it matter though? That's my whole point of this entire rant is why does it matter? British people. Yeah guys, we just don't exist, by the way. I'm just putting on a posh accent, I actually just live in fucking Washington. Never mind it's light outside, it's like... Okay, actually it's like 8 AM, it's like 7 AM in Washington, so... The fact it's light outside is like somewhat accurate if I was there. I don't know, maybe I just said Washington to confuse everyone. I'm actually in like a remote place of like flipping Gibraltar or something. Oh yeah, I'm talking about Washington State specifically. I didn't make that clear, but yeah, Washington State specifically is 7 AM. I know how time zones work, I swear. Okay. 2 dungeons. Now, again, now we are going to go to LMF and stuff. Yeah, you're pretty good at this game. Do you agree with everything I'm doing? Just to put you on the spot here. I mean, I know you can't see the tracker, but... right now, it's like... I'm 2 items from go mode minimum. And I can do all my dungeons, assuming boss key's in a good place in LMF. And there's a hint for something maybe in mines. Do you agree with this? With me going to mines? I don't know. I'm paid for attention since you're in online school. Okay, fair enough. This will be uploaded to YouTube. I don't know. There might be something after that, but yeah, this will be. Yeah, I did go to mines earlier, but I didn't notice anything peculiar there. I didn't like get anything useful. I don't think. Oh, where was Emerald Tablet? Emerald Tablet was... Pretty sure that was Elden. No. I can't remember. Fuck. Making an ED off strategy guide? Yeah. I do think that ED off changes things quite a little bit in terms of dungeons. That's about it. Where did I get Emerald Tablet? I actually can't remember. I'm pretty sure it wasn't from mines. Where was it? Fuck. I can't remember where like half the shit was in this game. I'm pretty sure nothing was from mines. I'm fairly certain. Because I remember having just done mines thinking I didn't get anything, so pretty sure. Yeah, especially like open Earth Temple, that's gonna be a whole lot more relevant, yeah. I mean, either way, I think if this hint wasn't here, I'd probably still go here anyway, because again, it's a chance that I can beat LMF. Yeah, it's like Sphere like 1 if Elden Tablet is the first one and you get like Digmit or something. I think that in EUD off you have to treat dungeons almost as kind of like as if they're like more connected to the regions, I guess. Instead of just like their own things like you do in EUD on. I know, yeah. It would be interesting to see if, like, EUD off ever makes it into a tournament. Like, I do think that the settings themselves have legs. Like, I mean, people have, like, different preferences and stuff. Okay. Did I remember shit right? Yes, okay. Okay, but it's not Gus Bellows, so I will stick around to see if I might find Gus Bellows somewhere. Because I still have no idea where that is. And I'll, like... Okay, and there's like one check in LMF which is technically in logic, so I'll go look around there as well. I know it's technically because I know where the other beetle is, and I can get that right now. If nothing happens there, I will probably just go straight back to... Okay, so technically, best case scenario, we're just some sort away from go mode. Best case scenario, assuming we can beat LMF right now. Passageway and okay. Well, I guess we're not gonna open the chest then, or talk to Gola, or do anything. I could do Sansi. That's kind of like Sansi's staring me in the face because I did get Cave's Key like Sphere 1, I think. Or was it like Sphere 2 logically? It was like no, Sphere 1 because Bomb Bag was Sphere 0 as well. I'll look around Sky Lineru first, just like general Lineru. For potential Gus Bellows, then I'll head into LMF. Just being a little bit safe, and if this is a race, I very much doubt that I would, like, lose time to this. Okay. We are in go mode, technically? Okay, because... Okay, we are in go mode if Gus Bellows aren't required. I will still look around, because there's a very big to decent... There's a decent chance that Gus Bellows are required. Depends where, like... Yeah. It kind of depends where where small keys / boss keys are. Because there's only one chest I have left in logic, and there's another one which I can get technically after like 2 big bits. Yeah, I mean, Ancient Citizen kind of like isn't an amazing dungeon, I don't think, in like a lot of situations. Like I've already ranted about Ancient Citizen in Go mode and how much I dislike it because it's just 2 checks here, 2 checks here, 2 checks here, have fun. But I think with the EUD off, it's even kind of worse because it's like what you said, 5 out of 9, yeah. 2 check, it's like a small dungeon already, but it's like two small keys. Okay, so do this and then just pray that something is in LMF. I'll play the boss key is in a good place in LMF. Just pray. I'll play it. This is Bellows. I would very much like that. Okay, well, fuck. Or we can do that one thing that happened in like that one seed where Bellows was on that chest, which was like really hilarious. I think that could also work as well if you like remove maps, as you say. I'm kind of neutral to that. Like I think if we can, if anything, I'd rather like try and keep the integrity of maps because they're part of the vanilla-based game. But if there's a good reason for removing maps, I'd say yeah, do it. Like I'd say keep them, but I'm not like emotionally attached to maps and like couldn't really give 2 fucks if they were gone. So yeah. Kinda depends. Do I like hear anything else? Like what the fuck? I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going fucking crazy. Wait, let's just ignore the fact I'm going crazy, right? I know, it's a drill thing. Fucking hell. Sound like screams, like what the fuck? But no, okay, we're good. Okay, what is this? Because this is going to determine the entire, well, not entirely, but you know. Fuck, okay. Well, we're doing 2 long bits because fuck you, that's why. This might be a little bit aggressive because the chances of these actually paying off is very, very low. But there's a chance that I'm in go mode right now. And so it makes a little bit of sense. Just a little bit. Okay, so I think first one is to Fledge, the other one is just 1 text box at the statue. Okay. I remember how this game works. I should have really made a bit magic file. I was going to do it because of Earth Temple, but I just finally forgot, and so we're just kind of left with this. Which is great. Okay, that works, thankfully. I just forgot to hold down the A button. I should have really picked up those bombs, whatever's fine. I already have enough, I think. And I'll be able to pick up some more bombs later. But yay, that works, so we're gonna go there. Yeah, look at this ancient movement where we just kind of like run around this. Yeah, we don't know if we might end up needing Bellows if, like, one chest. Okay, this is kind of jank. Like, we just have one more chest to do, and that's what we're unlocking right now. Actually, no, we could, actually, no, we could also do the entirety of, like, actually, no, we could do, what could we do? We could do inside Gus Bellows and the Gus Bellows check. We can do those two things with Back in Time as well. Might have been worth doing that first, actually, because that's a 2 out of 1. Yeah, I did this in a morning, like, to see this morning. I'm pretty sure that's I'm pretty sure it's that one is the door to, or this, yeah, that one's the, that one's the shortcut chest, I think, in the main hub. In theory, I should have probably done the other one first, because that's 2 checks and this is 1, but maybe, I don't know. I didn't think about doing that until now. Unless, like, the seed this morning just lied to me. Yeah, see, that's open now. Okay, we don't have to do it anyway, because now there's a key here, so there's that. It is true that I do have more free time now than I normally do. But it's like, I mean, okay, aside from the obvious, like, working, like, roughly 3 days of work, which is, like, that by itself is puny, because I still have, like, a double fucking weekend. But, like, even then, like, I'm still at college, so I still got a lot of that work, and, I don't know. I'm certainly more flexible. Then, like, again, I can literally do speedruns in the middle of the day, right? So there's that. But, like, the time I'm not speedrunning is still fairly, like, packed. Okay, nice bomb throw here. Like, how do I say this without sounding weird? Like, I am busy, but a lot of it is self-governed. If that makes any goddamn sense, which probably doesn't if you have no idea what I do outside of speedrunning, but that's the best way I can describe it. Except for work and college, everything else I do that's I would say I'm busy about is self-governing. Ish, I guess. My life is fucking weird to explain, I must say that. Okay, it's not exactly weird to explain, it's just missing out one crucial detail is, doesn't, like, everything about my life would be explained away if I just tell you all one crucial detail, but I just don't tell you all that one thing, so everything I say is weird. He was born at a very young age. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Okay, Bosky, fuck. I don't know. I forgot when this turned from a strategy guide video into a regular stream, but, you know, I mean, to be fair, there hasn't even been much logic to talk about. It's more so just, this game has been like 99% mid-game, so it's not been the best thing to talk about logic. I will, of course, summarize everything right at the end, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, excluding LMF, for now, I probably would do, like, Skyloft, because, again, there's so much stuff there, like, Sphere Zero, that I just haven't touched, and so... Not that it, like, because, again, like, the driving force is more so there's just a lot of checks on Skyloft, too, but also, like, that... The fact that there's a bunch of Sphere Zero stuff kind of, like, compensates for that as well, or, like, adds to it, rather. So if there's, like, I might not do Sansi for that reason, actually. Might do Sansi afterwards, because again, I might be reading logic in the sense that it's like, oh my god, Kaseki early on, that's been like nothing. Okay, Gus Bellows, please. But if this is go mode, then it doesn't really matter. But that might be looking small. I have one more chance for this to be go mode, or I might be looking for Gus Bellows. We are not in go mode. This sea does hard require Gust Bellows. So I'm actually gonna lose a bit of time to doing all those like back in time stuff. But I mean, okay. In an alternate universe, if the boss key was here, that would have I would be done basically by now. But I'm not done, so we are still here, looking for Gust Bellows. Okay, so looking at everything, I am absolutely going to okay, I say Academy. I probably will actually go to Academy. I'll go to Central Skyloft first because there's like more stuff there. But Skyloft in general, I am definitely going there right now. Because you know, right now there's no hints, so kind of fall back on general late game strategy, which is golden rule, but with a little bit more aggression to stuff like reading logic and hints and stuff like that. There are like no hints to read right now, so going heavily on golden rule plus any logic that I think is important, like Cave's Key being weird or rattle or something like that. Mogwitz is also quite peculiar, but again, I'm just kind of like keeping these in the back of my mind. And I guess earrings, because they weren't required at all, so them being in my arsenal is kind of like, but I've already kind of like cleared it, some it, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, we have like 581 rupees, so we should be able to full clear Beetle. Beetle. Voice break now. Okay. Okay, Parry's gifting Power's crystals. And again, this will end once we find Gust Bellows. Not quite there. The first thing there about was Sphere Zero, Parry's gift, open to us right at the beginning of the game. Yeah, and hadn't been touched since the 2-hour mark. At least we're all doing everything in like one Skyloft trip, so there's efficiency in that sense. But the fact that we kind of put off Skyloft this long was kind of, to be fair, the game was kind of pointing us in all other directions. So, you know, what could we do? Here's Gust Bellows. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we go mode. And this was Sphere 1. And this is kind of what I mean by lower spheres having more likely stuff to have, like, or being more likely to have useful stuff. And so yeah, this is a lesson. When you're in late game, please do spheres that are like really early on, because stuff like that happens. Although I would have probably gone here anyway, but still. But yeah, we skipped like the entirety of Skyloft except for that. And yeah, thank God I chose to go Central Skyloft instead of the Academy. Yeah, now we are go mode. Peter's bellow blowing business, yeah. Dude, like, when this entire VOD is on YouTube, please comment that. I will pin that. Opposed to, like, any, like, informative comment I'll have. It'll just be like, oh, I did X, Y, and Z wrong. Like, and then it'll just be whatever Yao said. So yeah, interesting seed. Kind of a bit of a bummer that about like kind of where Bosky was. I'm glad I did find the Bellows quite quickly in the end. Although, yeah, it felt obvious that the Bellows were there. And I guess like had I been like really geared towards logic, I'd have probably done Sansi because I've been like reading into that Linear Caves key too much. And this is the thing, yeah, don't do that, because I would have just been wasting my time in Sansi. So again, just to summarize the late game logic, similar to efficiency, always follow the golden rule, which is just if there are more checks somewhere, go there. Unless you're specifically being aggressive, and being aggressive is something you should do more often in the late game, because again, you're only searching for like 1 or 2 items. And when you're aggressive, or when you have a tiebreaker situation, is when you can start considering logic a little bit more so, but for now, it's basically, like, most of it is, like, just golden rule by default, and that's what I did this time. Even if it was like somewhere else with the similar amount of checks, I would probably still gone to Skyloft because of the logic and how early it was in logic. So yeah, that's basically reading logic in late game. And yeah, and while I'm at it, that's like kind of like that's a similar thing. Similar point in mid game is kind of like a similar thing. It's like, is you kind of like. You kind of want to be like roughly that aggressive in mid game as well. Okay, teammates, nice. Assuming like you don't have any like dungeons to do, because obviously in mid game and I guess late game for that matter, your priority should be to try and beat all dungeons, which is what I did here. And you know, when that's done, you want to go back to efficiency with a little bit more aggression. And as I said, it's like, again, reading into logic more when it makes sense, and like a lot of like the nuanced stuff about that is like you mostly just kind of like you kind of like learn like there's like a billion different variations of this type of scenario, and a lot of them you kind of just like learn as you go. I think that's like just like the big thing about kind of randomizers. A lot of them have like very like niche situations that you kind of have to like learn as you go. And yeah, like not really like there isn't really a one-size-fits-all strategy. It's all kind of like you know, if there was a one-size-fits-all strategy, I'd probably be done by now, because again, it's like if everything worked to how I wanted it to and how I played, I would have already had the boss key. But the rando was kind of like no. So, but again, as I say with these videos, they're not to tell you how to play the game. Okay, they are, but they're also to like, because they're basically, like, the point of these videos is to give you kind of more, like, an insight into, like, what I'm thinking when I'm playing this game. And at the end of the day, as the player in the moment, you can only really make the kind of, the informed choice, and just kind of like the choice that's most likely to work out. That's, as the player, that's all you can really do. And that's, these videos aim to kind of point you in the direction towards what a mathematically correct decision would be. So as with that, we just keep going for LMF and just hope the boss key is somewhere nice, and not like not vanilla. Please, not vanilla. I would like it if it isn't vanilla, just in case I die, because I've never done that before. Oh, ironically, I probably died a lot, although a lot of them were probably intentional. Yeah, 3 checks left. First core space, spike maze, and boss key chest. Okay, 50-50 between spike maze and boss key. This might be a full clear. Yeah, I guess like playing back this season, I don't really think that there was like a situation where I should have done Skyloft any earlier. Maybe when I was like deciding Skyloft versus Farron, but I think it was a good call doing Skyloft first. Oh no, Farron first. Like, because you know, I did get claw shots as well, so that was quite nice. But yeah. Vanilla boss key, of course. Why would it be anything otherwise? That guy's gonna die. Yep. Yeah, so I think like that would have probably saved me a few like little name double dips, but at the same time I would have like full cleared Skyloft, which is why I completely skipped in this route. So I do think that would have been faster if I'd done Skyloft at that time, but this is mostly just kind of like like, you know, hindsight thinking. I don't think that... I think in the moment, Farron was the correct play, I think. Because in my head, okay, I can, like, complete this dungeon, and it's, like... Okay, I didn't notice where the sword bit was at the time. And, you know, like Farron plus Skyview has a lot more checks than Skyloft, so it makes a lot more sense, yeah. Yeah, if I was reading, and I didn't have any reason to believe that Bellows would be on Skyloft, except for like a hunch about like, because like, I mean, you guys could tell how I was like saying, I hate how I'm putting it like there's got to be something on Skyloft too, because it's like I'm putting off for long, and yes, there was. But yeah, like that was more just like my hunch than anything. It wasn't really anything I should have like gone off of. It was like my first instincts right at the end there, which is kind of why I went there immediately after LMF. But yeah, it was like I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I should have really gone Skyloft earlier. I think, yeah, really. I think how I played the game is how I would have liked to. I think mathematically. Just thinking back, I don't think I made any like poor decisions. I didn't like forget anything. Everything kind of just worked. It was just kind of unfortunate that Bellows were hard required. I think had Bellows not been hard required, this would have been like a much faster seed. I think. I think in like a race situation, had someone gone to Skyloft earlier, they would have probably beat me purely because Bellows were hard required. So yeah, because they wouldn't have had to do all the back in time shenanigans. They would have probably had to do the rest of Skyloft, but yeah. Also, yeah, as Han mentioned, all of the SGL races that weren't Jankery streams, they're all on YouTube now. From the first season race all the way up to Grand Finals, from Jazzix winning by choosing a sword. I don't know, it's hard to say whether I'd have won this race or not, because I'm not actually in a race, I'm just against myself, and it's like, I don't know. The problems with being early morning EU, I have no one to race against. Because, I mean, right now, it's 3 PM on a Thursday afternoon in UK time, which means it's like the morning for North Americans. It's like the middle of the night for anyone in Australia. And it's a work day, so everyone's at work or something. Like no one is gonna no one's gonna be able to play with me except for like maybe Harm. I mean, you say the Harm, but you almost beat Jim in SGL though in the losers bracket. You almost did. Oh yeah, I have like literally no. Yeah, cool. Fuck. I'm sitting on this chair really weirdly, which means literally nothing. I'm just surprised why I was in that position. But okay, here we are. Yeah, like Jinmus, Jaznix, Yao, they're all like North American. They're all probably at school / work. Or okay, I mean. Yeah, well, there's Jazzix and Yao are both at school. Jim is either asleep or either way he probably wouldn't race either way because he doesn't tend to do rando unless there's a tournament coming up. And plus he's normally in like other things as well. Maybe if I like bullied and or bribed Jim, he might actually join my leagues. Yet again, it is like 5 in the morning if we're in like. I think he's from California, so it would be quite early either way. To be fair, I think if I like bribed anyone with enough money, they'd probably play at early morning if they could. But you know, they couldn't either way because, again, work or school. So, well, I mean, you know, I could like just put these at a better time. Arizona, right? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, Arizona's weird because it's like half the year it's in Pacific, the other half it's mountain. Why do you have to be different, Arizona? Why? I know the sun is beaming down on you, and you guys are like in an oven, but still. So right now they're in. If they don't observe daylight savings time, they're in Pacific. Friday, Tuesday, evening for race. Okay, interesting, yeah. I guess that makes sense, yeah, because that would be... I know that he does a stream on those days, and also that would be like his morning. Yeah, I mean, okay, if I schedule these way easier, then yeah, I probably get participants, but I just don't. And also, I think that like streaming late on Tuesday is quite hard. Actually, it might just be worth moving the weekly to Friday now, actually, because again, as I was saying, I think a lot of people who were doing it on Saturday can't anymore. This is just kind of me blabbering out loud. So like people like Yao, I think you struggle with weekly on Saturday, but we're doing it on Friday. But I think because hardly anyone's in the weekly now, it might be worth experimenting with the time as well. Or at the very least, we could mention it and everyone really complain about, or everyone like say, no, don't change the time, and then everyone would go back to weeklies. I don't know. That might happen. Like, I just threaten everyone to change the time, and then before you know it, we'll have like 10 people back at it for weeklies. I don't know. I'm just blabbing out real loud here. I mean, the UK, right, this morning it was like pissing it down, right? And then now it's not pissing it down. Fuck. I would read what you said, Sandra, but I'm busy. I'm busy beating this dude. Dead. This should be right. He's at an angle. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think during like summer months, yeah, that'd be like a good thing. Although it's February right now, so it's, you know, quite a way away. Okay, so big cutscene to summarize everything I've said. So reading logic is a very good tool if you can do it. It's not something that I would like recommend that you base your entire route off of, because sometimes that can have a few gambles. But it's a really good idea to kind of like nudge you in the right direction. In the early game, it's a good idea to keep in mind of what Sphere Zero, of like where all the Sphere Zero checks are, so that if you haven't done them, you can kind of do them at late game. Or prioritize them more at late game, I mean. And in the early game, you kind of want to do a lot more. And I guess how much you choose to follow logic depends how aggressive you want to be. And usually in early game, the best thing is to not be too aggressive. And so in the early game, I'd recommend not following, like not following logic too much, keeping it in the back of your head, but like not making it the center of all your decisions. And as you get into the late game or mid game, I'd say try and make logic a kind of a more of a decision in like close reasons, like Farron and Skyloft having the same amount of checks or something like that. And so if like for this one, for example. What was it? Skyloft had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16. It had like 16 things. First of all, it was like way more than any other thing, so it was likely those would be there anyway. But say had like Eldon been there and had matched like 16 or something, I would have probably still gone to Skyloft, because it was Skyloft 2 is like very low in spheres. So that's basically it. Also, going when searching areas, it's best to stay in logic a lot of the time, or when deciding things, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to kind of guess where things are. And checks in logic are, of course, way more likely to have the items that you're looking for, based on how like the logic works. And going out of logic when you're in those areas is still a really good idea, even if you don't count those checks specifically, because you can sometimes have valuable information about a seed. Like, for example, finding Amber Tablet in Floria, then finding Gus Bellows in Nehru or something like that. You can get like a lot of really powerful knowledge just based on going out of logic, and plus it can sometimes be like half the time it's like faster than following logic to the word. Like in this case, if we followed logic too much, we'd have basically ended up double dipping a few places, like Skyview or something. So that's basically it. So now with nothing else to say, we just go to endgame and hope that endgame is nice to us. And as we finish this with hopefully a 210 something. So yeah, not in terribly short seed, but not terribly long one either. It's like average. there's just nothing to say. Just Doge pre end game. But we've said everything there is to say about strategy. Okay, so there's been like the 3 runs like this. There's been the first one on efficiency, second one on dungeons, third one on logic. I will be making a fourth video, primarily about execution and how to improve at that. That'll be a lot more of a glossy edit rather than just me explaining stuff as I play things. So it'll be more like the fear video rather than anything else, except it'll be talking about obviously the game and execution, as opposed to my shitty fear of spiders. So that should be released, I want to say soon, but knowing me, it's not going to be that soon. Because it might be pretty soon, but it's not going to be like. It's not gonna be like tomorrow. Might be like a few weeks maximum, if that, maybe a month. So yeah, just like if you guys want to learn how to get better execution, because execution is like the complete other side to this game. As much as people want to say that like, oh, this game is all about routing, execution is still a big part of randomizer. And unlike routing, you can actually control this fully, because like, with routing it depends on how like the seeds, and like the seed can just like shit on you if it wants to. But with execution, if you fuck up, you fuck up. It is your choice, or your problem, or something, I don't know. It's your fault. And like, and execution can still be useful, in the way that it can give you more wiggle room with your routing, so you can make a lot more routing mistakes and still come out on top, because like you can check. You can like go through areas faster, so you can make more wrong decisions. And also, execution can be a really good source of like, it can be a really good tiebreaker for those with similar routes, or those who get to the end game super quicker. And I'll discuss this a lot more in the actual video itself, but that should be coming out probably at least some point in March, hopefully. So yeah, cool. I didn't say this, but Horde skip was weird that time. I almost didn't get that because the dude was, my starting position was quite bad. Grenade, important. Also, side note, I would have bought the Hylian shields. Oh my god. I would have bought the Hylian shield if I had the pouch space for it, but I don't. Actually, I do now, but I don't think I did when I was there. At least I'm gonna say I didn't. I might have actually, in hindsight. It might have been worth getting the shield, I don't know. Dum 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 dum. Okay, we did. Cool. dead. Booze, 5, 15, 13. That's not bad. I think that mathematically, or like, and how I aggressed myself, I think I was pretty good this time. I didn't like make any mistakes. Any noticeable mistakes, I think. Demise is a scary boss for you. I mean, Demise is one of those bosses that's like, if you don't know what you're doing, he's incredibly difficult. But I've been playing this game for years, so I know what I'm doing against him. So yeah, I think mathematically and in terms of like how I should have paced my aggression, I think I made all like good decisions. I didn't of course make the optimal decisions because I feel like that if I'd gone to like Skyloft first and found the the Bellows, then that would have worked. But no. I had like no reason to believe that they were there at the time, so I just kind of went with it, just hoped. And also, if Bosky would have been in like the East Wing, and like the lock behind Small Key or anywhere, it would have been like the seed. I would have been like done. Wouldn't have to even touch Skyloft after Skyloft 1, so that's cool. So yeah, again, as I said, why is the cropping all weird now? God damn it! I like fixed this not too long ago, and now it's weird again. Of course it is. Nice, I just noticed that after the game. Yeah, so yeah, 4th view coming out at some point. So those are the first 3. Hopefully they help someone, some way. Again, it's like, there's no optimal strategy. I'd recommend just best way of, best way of like, playing this, best way of getting better just by playing it. But this should hopefully give you some of like a baseline level to work with and for you to start experimenting, hopefully.